Well, you probably saw in the last video, the 966 is back. So I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of everything that they did to it. So go back about, I don't know, a month and a half maybe. My brother was changing the oil pan gasket on this tractor. It was leaking and I got a new pan gasket and he drained it out. We were gonna change the oil, change the filters, change the pan gasket. Well, he pulled the pan off and there were chunks of metal in the pan and in the pickup tube. So obviously we're like, that's not supposed to be like that. So we did some digging. My brother pulled 2 of the main bearings off of the crankshaft and they were scored up pretty bad. They were not pretty. They were awful, actually. So our original plan was, hey, maybe we'll just get a new set of main bearings and we'll replace them ourselves because they're pretty easy to replace. But then we got to thinking, we're like, well, something caused them to score and we don't know what did it, and we don't really have the means and the ability to figure out what did it. So we made the choice to send it to a diesel mechanic. And that was the right decision because here's what happened. So sometime before we bought this tractor, whoever had it had done some clutch work to the tractor. And in here is the clutch. And, you know, I'm not a mechanic and I don't really know everything. So excuse me if I'm a little off in my terminology and where things are at. But there's something called the pilot bearing inside there in the clutch. When clutch work was done to it by a previous owner, they put the pilot bearing on too tight, which somehow pushed the clutch forward and pushed the crankshaft forward, so there was scoring being done. So improper installation led to pretty bad engine problems. They took that all apart, found out that the PTO shaft, like the input shaft or something inside the tractor, was also pretty scored up, so they put the new input shaft in, new pilot bearing, all new main bearings and rod bearings, put the tractor back together, and she's good to go. Another thing they did while the tractor was in the shop was there was the axle seal on the right side of the tractor. They fixed that so that no longer leaks as well. So this tractor, since we bought it, we have done an insane amount of work to it, more than I would have liked to. But I'm hoping that we finally got all the kinks out of this tractor. A quick rundown, you know, last year we did a bunch of stuff to it. New water pump, fixed a bunch of little seals here and there, fixed the steering wobble, fixed the leaky steering wheel, fixed the fuel issue on it. There was dirt in the line, so I took the tank off and everything got a full flush. Basic maintenance, changed the coolant and that sort of stuff. This year, started off the year changing the hydraulic fluid, the filters, fixed the clutch booster, and then everything, you know, just started leaking and ended up, you know, taking it to the shop and got all that work done. So it's basically like a brand new tractor. Not really, but almost. All it needs yet is a coat of paint. One other thing that it did just recently when my brother was mowing hay, and I don't know if I mentioned this yet. One of these are hydraulic lines that run through the oil cooler, keep the hydraulic fluid cold. Yeah, one of these rubber hoses just exploded and was spraying fluid everywhere, and it sprayed through the radiator and hit the fan and just went spraying everywhere. And you can see right here, this thing is still coated in fluid, needs a wash. So that was another thing that broke down and we lost, you know, 3-4 gallons of fluid in that process. But my brother fixed it up in a few hours and he got back to mowing hay, and the thing ran great for the rest of the hay cutting. So hopefully it stays good for straw too. Anyway, that's what happened to this tractor. I know a guy commented recently and was wondering what was up with this thing and wanted more videos of it. So hopefully this is the last video I ever make on it about it breaking and us fixing it. To be honest, I don't have a whole lot of faith in it, but taking it one day at a time. I love the tractor. Like, I love the 66 series. I love red paint. I love the tractor when I run it, and when it breaks, pain in my butt. That being said, on to the next job. See you in the next one.